Have you ever stopped to think about why certain people seem to have a different glow? A unique ability to transform environments and touch hearts? What if I told you that God has reserved very special gifts for those born under the sign of Libra? Divine gifts that were carefully placed in their soul even before they took their first breath in this world. Today you will discover the 10 sacred gifts that the Creator bestowed exclusively upon Librans. And pay close attention, because these are not common characteristics that anyone can develop. No, my dear Libran, these are celestial gifts that came directly from the heart of God. Divine marks that He imprinted on your essence before you were born. Do you know that feeling that you were born for something greater, but sometimes you can't quite understand what it is? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Because many Librans spend their entire lives without discovering the sacred treasures they carry within themselves. And that's a tragedy, because when you don't know your divine gifts, you live far below your true potential, far short of the abundant life that the universe has prepared especially for you. Throughout this video, you will understand why your sensitivity is not a weakness, but rather a powerful instrument in the hands of the divine. You will discover why your constant search for balance and harmony is actually a sacred mission that few manage to fulfill. And most importantly, you will learn how to consciously activate these gifts to manifest the extraordinary life that is your birthright. So take a deep breath, open your heart wide, because the next revelations will completely change the way you see yourself and your purpose in this world. Dom 1. The divine ability to see all sides. The first sacred gift that God bestowed upon Librans is something so rare and precious that most people will never be able to develop it, even if they spend their entire lives trying. I'm talking about the divine ability to see all sides of a situation with crystal clarity, without being swayed by hasty judgments or limited perspectives. When the Creator was shaping your soul, He breathed into it a very ancient wisdom, a profound understanding that truth is never found in a single point of view. And that is why you, Libra, carry within you this celestial ability to put yourself in another's place, to understand perspectives completely different from your own, to perceive nuances that go unnoticed by the vast majority of people. But here's something important you need to understand about this gift. Often, the people around you misinterpret this divine ability of yours. They think you're indecisive, that you don't have your own opinion, that you sit on the fence. But that couldn't be further from the truth. What happens is that while others see the world in black and white, you have been blessed with a vision of the infinite colors that exist between those two extremes. Think about it for a moment. How many fights, how many misunderstandings, how many wars could be avoided if more people had this gift that God placed in you? How many families could reconcile? How many relationships could be saved? How much pain could be avoided if everyone could see the world the way you see it? This divine gift makes you a natural mediator, a bridge between worlds that seem opposite, but are actually complementary. When two people are in conflict and cannot understand each other, you can perceive where each one is right and where each one is wrong. You can find that meeting point, that solution that honors the truth of both sides. And you know what's most impressive? You do it so naturally, so automatically, that you often don't even realize how extraordinary this gift is. For you, it's normal to consider multiple perspectives before forming an opinion. For you, it's obvious that every story has more than one side. But for most people, this is practically impossible because they are trapped in their own limited perceptions. Now, let me tell you something that will change your life. This gift wasn't given to you just to help others. No, my dear Libra. The universe wants you to use this divine ability for your own benefit as well. When you find yourself facing a difficult decision, when you're confused about which path to take, remember this sacred gift you carry. Use your ability to see all angles to wisely evaluate your own choices. Don't be afraid to carefully consider all possibilities before acting. This is not indecision, this is divine wisdom in action. While others make impulsive decisions and then regret them, you have the privilege of pondering, reflecting, and consciously choosing the best path. And there's another powerful aspect of this gift that many Librans are unaware of. This ability to see multiple perspectives also protects you from manipulation and deception. When someone tries to convince you of something using only one-sided arguments, your internal radar goes off. You immediately realize that something is missing, that the story isn't complete. And this saves you from falling into traps that destroy the lives of less attentive people. Dom 2. The power to bring peace amidst chaos. The second divine gift that the Creator reserved exclusively for you, Libra, is so powerful that it borders on the supernatural. It is the celestial ability to bring peace, harmony, and balance even in the most chaotic and turbulent situations. And when I say that this is a superpower, I'm not exaggerating in the slightest. Think about how many times you've entered a tense environment, full of heavy energy, with people arguing or irritated, and your mere presence began to soften the atmosphere. It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't luck. It was your divine gift in action, working almost magically to restore the balance that had been disturbed. God has placed within you a very special vibrational frequency, a harmonizing energy that acts as a balm for emotional wounds and human conflicts. It's as if you were an instrument in the hands of the divine, a channel through which celestial peace can flow into this troubled and discord-ridden world. But here's what most Librans don't understand about this sacred gift. You don't bring peace by being passive, weak, or avoiding conflict at all costs. No, my dear. You bring peace because you carry within you an inner strength so profound, so rooted in the divine, that your very essence radiates tranquility and balance to everything around you. It's like a strong, well-planted tree that remains firm during a storm. The gusts of wind may be violent, the rain may fall heavily, but the tree remains there, motionless, offering shelter and protection to those who need it. You are that tree, Libra. Your inner peace is not easily shaken by external storms, and that's why you can be a safe haven for other sailors lost in life's tempest. Have you ever noticed how people are naturally drawn to you when they're going through tough times? How they seek your company when they need comfort, balanced advice, a word that brings relief to their troubled souls. This happens because they sense, even unconsciously, that you possess this divine gift of peacemaking. And there's more. This sacred power doesn't operate only on the human level of interpersonal relationships. It also works on more subtle and profound dimensions. When you enter a place, your energy automatically begins to harmonize the vibrational frequencies of that space. It's as if you were a divine tuning fork, restoring the correct tuning of everything and everyone around you. Now I'm going to reveal something very important about how to use this gift consciously and powerfully. Many Librans waste this divine gift trying to please everyone, sacrificing their own inner peace to maintain external harmony. But that's not what the universe wants from you. The true power of this gift lies in first cultivating deep peace within yourself, and then allowing that peace to naturally overflow into the world around you. When you are at peace with yourself, when you have balanced your own internal energies, when you have resolved your own internal conflicts, then your gift works to its full potential. It's like lighting a candle in a dark room. The candle doesn't need to struggle to illuminate. It simply shines, and the light happens naturally. And there is an even deeper secret about this gift that few know. Every time you bring peace to a situation, every time you harmonize a conflict, every time you restore balance in some aspect of life, you are actually fulfilling a sacred mission that was entrusted to you even before you were born. You are being a direct collaborator in the divine plan for this world. If this message resonated with your zodiac sign, trust me, it's no coincidence. When the universe wants to speak to you, it sends exactly the right signal. And you're here because you needed to hear this today. Your contribution as a subscriber or member is what keeps these messages alive. Messages that touch, awaken, and transform lives. And if this video made sense to you, leave your birth date in the comments. Now let's continue with our video. Dom 3. Refined sensitivity for beauty and harmony. The third sacred gift that the Creator reserved especially for Librans is a sensitivity so refined, so elevated, that very few people in the world can comprehend its depth. I am referring to the divine capacity to perceive, appreciate, and create beauty and harmony in all its forms and manifestations. When God was forming your soul, He chose to open your inner eyes to aesthetic dimensions that remain invisible to most people. He gave you the ability to see beauty where others see only the ordinary, to perceive the hidden harmony in what seems chaotic, to feel the silent music that permeates all of creation. This is not vanity, my dear Libra. This is not superficiality. This is a profound spiritual gift that connects you directly with the creative essence of the Creator Himself. Because God is the supreme artist, the great architect of the universe, and when He gave you this sensitivity to beauty and harmony, He was sharing with you a piece of His own divine nature. Think about how you feel when you see a magnificent sunset, or when you listen to music that touches your soul, or when you enter a perfectly harmonized environment. That shiver that runs down your spine, that feeling of fullness that fills your chest, that deep connection you feel with something greater than yourself. All of this is your divine gift in action, allowing you to experience beauty on a level that transcends the merely physical. But there is something even more extraordinary about this sacred gift. You are not only able to perceive and appreciate beauty, you also have the divine power to create and manifest it in the world. Whether through art, decoration, fashion, music, writing, or simply the way you organize and harmonize the spaces and situations around you, you are a channel through which celestial beauty can enter this dense and often ugly world. Every time you create something beautiful, every time you arrange a space harmoniously, every time you wear clothes that express elegance and balance, you are actually performing a sacred act. You are bringing a reflection of paradise to earth. You are reminding other people that there is something beyond the ugliness, the disorder, the chaos that often dominates this world. And here is a profound truth that will completely transform how you see this gift. The beauty you create and manifest doesn't just beautify the physical world. It also has the power to heal, to uplift, to transform the people who come into contact with it. When someone contemplates something truly beautiful that you have created, it raises that person's vibration. It touches their soul on levels that go far beyond what they can consciously comprehend. You may have often felt judged for caring so much about aesthetics, about the appearance of things, about visual and sensory harmony. People may have called you superficial, frivolous, too concerned with material things. But let me tell you something very clearly. These people simply don't have their eyes open to see what you see. They can't understand that you're not just dealing with the surface. You're working with subtle energies that shape consciousness and profoundly affect everyone's spiritual well-being. Have you ever noticed how bad you feel, almost physically ill, when you are in disharmonious, ugly, disorganized environments? How you can't function well when things around you are out of order? This happens because your gift makes you extremely sensitive to the vibrational frequencies that environments and objects emit. You literally feel the energetic imbalance that ugliness and disharmony create. And this also gives you a sacred responsibility. With this gift comes the mission to use your sensitivity to raise the vibration of the spaces and situations you encounter. It's not about imposing your personal tastes on others, but rather about serving as a divine instrument that brings more beauty, more harmony, more balance to a world that desperately needs these qualities. When you use this gift consciously and purposefully, when you stop apologizing for caring about beauty and harmony, when you fully embrace this divine facet of your nature, magical things begin to happen. You become a beacon of light that attracts people and opportunities aligned with your high vibration. You create a force field around you that naturally repels ugliness, disharmony, and chaos. Dom 4. Divine justice engraved on the heart. The fourth sacred gift that God imprinted on the souls of Librans is something so powerful and transformative that it can change not only their lives, but also the reality of countless other people around them. I'm talking about divine justice, which was engraved directly on their hearts. A deep and unwavering sense of what is right and wrong, just and unjust, balanced and unbalanced. This is not merely an intellectual concept you learn from society or your parents. No, my dear Libra. This is ancestral wisdom imprinted on your soul, even before you were born. It's as if the Creator Himself whispered in your spiritual ears the eternal principles of true justice, the kind that transcends imperfect and limited human laws. You feel a deep, almost physical pain when you witness injustice. When you see someone being treated unfairly, when you observe situations where the strong oppress the weak, when you realize that lies are prevailing over truth, something within you revolts. And this revolt is not just emotional or psychological. It is spiritual. It is your divine essence reacting against the violation of the sacred laws of universal balance. But here's something crucial you need to understand about this gift. The divine justice you carry is not the same thing as vengeance or punishment. Many people confuse these concepts, but they are completely different. True divine justice seeks to restore balance, heal what has been hurt, correct what has been distorted. It doesn't want to destroy the offender. It wants to transform them and bring harmony to the entire situation. This gift makes you a natural advocate for the voiceless, a defender of the oppressed, a spokesperson for truth in situations where lies try to prevail. And you do this not because you want to be a hero, not because you want to draw attention to yourself, but simply because you cannot remain silent in the face of injustice. It is stronger than you. It is the divine voice echoing through your being. Have you ever noticed how many times you've gotten yourself into difficult or uncomfortable situations because you felt you needed to defend someone or some cause? How many times have you confronted people more powerful than you because you knew they were wrong? How many times have you given up personal benefits because accepting them would mean condoning an injustice? That's your gift in action, guiding your choices and shaping your character. And there's an even deeper aspect to this divine gift. This heightened sense of justice doesn't just operate externally. It also works internally within you. You are extremely demanding of yourself, always evaluating your own actions to ensure they align with your values of fairness and balance. You can't live in peace when you know you've acted unfairly or unbalancedly, even if no one else knows about it. This moral self-awareness is both a blessing and a challenge. It's a blessing because it keeps you on the right path, prevents you from becoming corrupt, and protects you from making the mistakes that destroy so many people's lives. But it can also be a challenge because sometimes you are too hard on yourself, severely judging small slips that any human being would make. Here's something important the universe wants you to know. This gift of divine justice wasn't placed within you to make you a cruel judge, neither of others nor of yourself. It was placed within you so that you might be an instrument of balance, restoration, and healing. True divine justice always has compassion in its heart, always seeks to understand before judging, and always offers opportunities for redemption and transformation. When you use this gift in the right way, you become a beacon of integrity in a world where dishonesty and injustice often seem to reign. The people around you begin to realize that you are someone who can be trusted, someone who will never betray their principles for convenience, someone who will stand up for what is right, even when it comes at a high price. And there is a secret power in this gift that few Librans know. When you stand firm in divine justice, when you refuse to compromise with injustice even under pressure, when you defend balance even when it brings you temporary disadvantages, you are actually activating powerful spiritual laws that work in your favor. The universe always rewards those who defend its sacred principles of justice and balance. Dom 5. The sacred gift of celestial diplomacy. The fifth divine gift that the Creator reserved exclusively for Librans is a skill so rare and valuable that governments would pay fortunes to have people who possessed it on their teams. I'm talking about celestial diplomacy, the supernatural ability to connect people, mediate conflicts, and find solutions that honor everyone involved. When God was shaping your essence, He decided to give you a special talent for the delicate art of balanced communication. He taught you at the deepest levels of your soul how to choose the right words, how to find the right tone, how to present difficult truths in a way that people can receive without feeling attacked or diminished. This divine gift makes you a natural bridge between seemingly irreconcilable worlds. You can converse with the intellectual and the simple, the rich and the poor, the young and the old, and make everyone feel understood and respected. You have this magical ability to translate the language of one group to another, to make completely different people understand each other and find common ground. But let me tell you something very important about this gift. It doesn't make you fake or manipulative. Quite the opposite. True divine diplomacy is always based on authenticity and a genuine pursuit of harmony and mutual understanding. You're not deceiving anyone when you use your diplomatic skills. You're simply removing the communication barriers that prevent people from truly connecting. Think about how many times you've acted as an intermediary between people in conflict. How many times have you managed to make each side understand the other's perspective? How many times have you found that creative solution that no one else had thought of, the one that allowed everyone to win instead of creating winners and losers? That's your divine gift operating at its full potential. And there's something fascinating about how this sacred gift works. You have a special sensitivity to read between the lines, to perceive what isn't being said, to grasp the underlying emotions and needs that even people themselves often can't clearly articulate. It's as if you have a supersensitive emotional radar that detects hidden currents in human interactions. This ability allows you to anticipate misunderstandings before they happen, defuse tense situations before they explode, and find avenues for dialogue even when it seems like all bridges have been burned. You can see opportunities for reconciliation where others only see permanent impasses. Now I'm going to reveal a powerful secret about how to maximize this divine gift. Many Librans fall into the trap of using their diplomatic skills only to avoid conflict or maintain superficial peace. But the true power of this gift lies in using it to facilitate deep and transformative conversations, those that truly resolve problems instead of just sweeping tensions under the rug. When you use your celestial diplomacy with courage and depth, When you are not afraid to address difficult issues but do so with tact and sensitivity, when you create safe spaces where important truths can be spoken and heard, then you are fully honoring this sacred gift you have received. And there is another extraordinary aspect of this gift that deserves attention. Your diplomatic skills not only benefit others, they also serve as a powerful protection for yourself. When you master the art of balanced communication, you can navigate complex social and professional situations without creating unnecessary enemies, without burning bridges that may be important in the future, and without putting yourself in vulnerable positions due to a lack of tact. Have you noticed how people trust you with sensitive information? How they seek you out when they need advice on delicate relationship issues? How you often find yourself in the role of mediator, counselor, peacemaker? This is not accidental. People intuitively sense that you possess this divine gift, and they are naturally drawn to you when they need it. And there's one more crucial thing about this sacred gift. Every time you use your diplomatic skills to create understanding between people, to resolve conflicts harmoniously, to build bridges where there were once walls, you are literally changing the energy of the world. You are raising collective consciousness, contributing to a future where cooperation prevails over conflict, where dialogue replaces violence. Dom 6. The capacity to love with balance and wisdom. The sixth divine gift placed in the hearts of Librans is perhaps one of the most beautiful and transformative of all. I'm talking about the sacred capacity to love with balance and wisdom, to create deep and meaningful relationships without losing one's own essence, to surrender to love without losing oneself in it. When the Creator was designing your soul, He decided to teach you something that very few people manage to learn even after decades of experience. He gave you the intuitive understanding that true love doesn't mean sacrificing who you are. It doesn't mean erasing yourself to please another. It doesn't mean losing your boundaries and your individuality. This gift allows you to love deeply while maintaining your integrity intact. You can open yourself completely to another person without becoming dependent on them. You can care for the other without neglecting yourself. You can build a true partnership where both grow and flourish, instead of one of those unbalanced relationships where one always gives and the other always receives. But here's the tricky part of this gift, and it's important that you understand it. Because of this ability to love with balance, sometimes people accuse you of being cold, distant, or not passionate enough. They don't understand that you simply have a more mature and healthy way of loving. They confuse uncontrolled emotional intensity with true love, and when you don't demonstrate this chaotic intensity, they think you don't care deeply. Nothing could be further from the truth. You love with all the depth of your being, but you love with wisdom. You love without losing your reason, without letting emotions completely control you, without making impulsive choices that you will regret later. And that is a sign of spiritual maturity, not of coldness or lack of feeling. Think about how many relationships you've seen crumble around you because people surrendered to love in an unbalanced way. How many times have you witnessed friends or family completely lose themselves in toxic relationships because they thought that loving meant total sacrifice? How many emotional tragedies have you witnessed that could have been avoided if people had that divine gift of loving with balance? And here's an important revelation about this sacred gift. It doesn't just apply to romantic relationships. You also have this capacity to love with balance in your friendships, in your family relationships, even in how you relate to your work, your passions, your hobbies. You can dedicate yourself intensely to something without becoming obsessed with it, without letting it unbalance other important areas of your life. This divine gift protects you from much unnecessary suffering. While others get lost in destructive loves, you have the wisdom to recognize when a relationship is unhealthy and the strength to walk away from it. While others become codependent and lose their autonomy, you maintain your independence even within deep relationships. While others oscillate between giving too much and closing themselves off completely, you find that sweet middle ground, where there is openness and vulnerability but also strength and self-care. Now let me tell you something that will change your perspective on this gift. The balanced love you are capable of offering is exactly the kind of love the world needs most. We live in a society that romanticizes toxic relationships, that confuses jealousy with love, that thinks intense suffering is a sign of true passion. But you know in your heart that this is not true. When you love someone the way God taught you to love, you offer that person something precious and rare. You offer a love that doesn't suffocate, but liberates. A love that doesn't control but trusts. A love that doesn't diminish but elevates. A love that doesn't demand perfection, but accepts humanity. A love that doesn't create dependence, but strengthens the autonomy of both. And there's an even deeper aspect to this gift that few understand. When you love with balance and wisdom, when you create healthy relationships based on mutual respect and joint growth, you are actually setting an example for everyone around you. You are showing that it is possible to love deeply without losing yourself, that it is possible to commit without negating yourself, that it is possible to build something lasting without sacrificing your essence. Dom 7, refined intuition for people and situations. The seventh divine gift that the Creator bestowed upon Librans is a form of perception so subtle and refined that you yourself often don't realize how extraordinary it is. I'm talking about the keen intuition to read people and situations, the ability to sense energies and intentions that remain invisible to most people. When God was forming your consciousness, He opened special channels of perception in your mind and heart. He gave you sensitive antennae that pick up subtle signals, detect hidden truths, and perceive what lies behind the social masks people wear. You can sense when something is wrong, even if everything seems perfectly normal on the surface. This divine gift acts as an early warning system that protects you from dangers and guides you toward the best choices. It's that strange feeling in your stomach when you meet someone who seems nice, but something inside you tells you to be careful. It's that inexplicable certainty that an opportunity that seems too good to be true really is too good to be true. It's that inner voice that warns you when you're about to make a mistake, even if logically everything seems to make sense. But here's something crucial you need to understand about this sacred gift. Often you ignore your own intuition because you can't explain it rationally. You feel something strongly, but because you don't have concrete proof, you let your logical mind dismiss what your heart is telling you. And then weeks or months later, you discover that your intuition was absolutely correct, and you regret not trusting it. Let me tell you something important. Your intuition doesn't need to be explainable to be valid. In fact, true divine intuition often comes through channels that the rational mind cannot access or understand. It comes from a deeper wisdom, from a connection with dimensions of reality that transcend linear and logical thought. Think about how many times you've had a hunch about someone, and that hunch later turned out to be true. How many times have you felt you shouldn't do something, only to later discover you would have regretted it? How many times have you chosen a path based solely on an inner feeling, and that path led you exactly where you needed to be? That's your divine gift guiding you, protecting you, directing you. And there's another fascinating aspect to this refined intuition. You not only perceive people and situations with depth, you also have a special ability to sense group dynamics, collective emotional currents, the energetic patterns that shape what happens around you. When you enter an environment, you immediately pick up on the emotional climate of that space, the unspoken tensions, the invisible connections between people. This sensitivity gives you a huge advantage in any social or professional situation. You can navigate complex environments gracefully because you notice things that others don't. You know when to speak and when to remain silent. You sense when to approach someone and when to give them space. You detect opportunities and pitfalls that go unnoticed by less attuned people. Now I'm going to reveal a powerful secret about how to strengthen and trust this divine gift more. Intuition is like a muscle. The more you use and trust it, the stronger and more precise it becomes. Every time you honor your hunches, every time you act based on those inner feelings even without rational proof, you are strengthening this divine channel of perception. And the opposite is also true. Every time you ignore your intuition, every time you let your rational mind convince you that your feelings aren't valid, you're weakening that precious gift. It's like turning off a super-sensitive radar that was trying to warn you about something important. Have you ever noticed how you sometimes know things about people you've just met, things that are later confirmed when you get to know them better? How you can predict the development of certain situations with surprising accuracy. How you often have insights into other people's problems that they themselves couldn't see. All of this is your divine intuition in action. And there is a special power in this gift that goes beyond simple personal protection. When you develop and fully trust your intuition, you begin to access knowledge that comes from sources far beyond your personal experience. It's as if you could access a cosmic library of wisdom, receiving direct guidance from the universe on important matters. Dom 8. The natural talent for creating meaningful connections. The eighth divine gift that God placed in the essence of Librans is something absolutely magical and transformative. I'm talking about the natural talent for creating true and meaningful connections with all kinds of people, for building bridges of understanding and friendship that profoundly enrich the lives of everyone involved. When the Creator was shaping your ability to connect with others, He gave you a very special gift. He taught you the art of making people feel truly seen, heard, and valued. You have this magical ability to make someone feel like the most important person in the world when you're talking to them, that their words truly matter, that their existence makes a difference. This divine gift is not simply superficial charisma or mechanical social skill. It is something much deeper. It is a genuine ability to connect with the essence of another person, to authentically touch their heart, to create the kind of bond that remains even when you are separated by time or distance. Think about how many times people you've met briefly have completely opened up to you, sharing secrets and vulnerabilities they normally keep to themselves. How many times has someone told you they feel comfortable around you in a way they don't feel with other people? How many times have you forged deep and lasting friendships in situations where others would only manage superficial acquaintances? This happens because you possess this sacred gift of creating authentic connections. People feel, even unconsciously, that with you they can let their guard down, be vulnerable, show who they really are without fear of judgment or rejection. They feel that you genuinely accept them, with all their imperfections and complexities. And here's something important about this divine gift. It doesn't make you popular in an empty or superficial way. You're not the kind of person who has thousands of acquaintances but no true friends. On the contrary, you have the ability to cultivate quality relationships, deep connections that truly nourish the soul and enrich life in a meaningful way. This gift also gives you a powerful support network. Throughout your life, you naturally build a community of people who love you, who trust you, who would be willing to help you when you need it. And this doesn't happen because you manipulate or use people, but because you generously give of yourself, because you authentically contribute to their lives. But I'll tell you something that many Librans don't realize about this gift. It also carries a responsibility. When you have the ability to deeply touch people's hearts, when you can create such meaningful connections, you need to be careful not to hurt those who have opened up to you. You have real power over the emotions and well-being of the people who have connected with you. Have you ever noticed how genuinely sad people get when you're away? How they feel your absence disproportionately to the time you spent together? How a single word from you can deeply brighten someone's day? Or how a careless mistake on your part can hurt more than you imagined? That's because your connections are real and deep, not superficial. And there's another wonderful aspect to this divine gift. You not only create connections between yourself and other people, you also have a special talent for connecting people with each other. You can see potential for friendship or partnership that others don't see. You often serve as a link that unites individuals who benefit from each other, who complement each other, who together can create something greater than they could create alone. This role as a connector is sacred and powerful. When you introduce the right people to each other, when you facilitate relationships and collaborations, when you weave this network of meaningful human connections, you are literally changing the course of multiple people's lives. You are being an instrument of the divine plan that wants us all to be connected, supporting each other, growing together. Now I'm going to reveal a secret about how to use this gift in an even more powerful way. The quality of your connections depends greatly on the quality of your own internal energy. When you are centered, balanced, and at peace with yourself, your connections with others flow naturally and are deeply nourishing. But when you are unbalanced or disconnected from yourself, even your best connection skills are compromised. Therefore, taking care of yourself, maintaining your own emotional and spiritual balance, is not selfishness. It is actually a prerequisite for you to fully utilize this divine gift of creating meaningful connections. The better you are with yourself, the more you have to genuinely offer others, and the deeper and more transformative the connections you create will be. Dom 9. The quiet strength that inspires transformation. The ninth divine gift placed in the souls of Librans is perhaps one of the most powerful and least understood of all. I'm talking about the quiet strength that lives within you. A strength that doesn't need to shout to be heard, that doesn't need to attack to assert itself, that doesn't need to dominate to lead. When God was creating your essence, He decided to give you a type of strength completely different from what the world usually recognizes and values. While many people think that strength means being tough, aggressive, inflexible, dominant, the Creator taught you that true strength lies in unbreakable gentleness, in kindness that is not weakness, in patience that is not passivity. This divine gift allows you to remain firm in your values and convictions without needing to violently impose them on others. You are able to defend your truths with a serene firmness that is often more persuasive than any aggressive argument. You have the ability to withstand pressure and adversity while maintaining your grace and composure intact. Think about how a drop of water, so gentle and seemingly fragile, can over time pierce even the hardest stone. That is the nature of your strength, Libra. You don't violently attack obstacles. You work on them with patient persistence until they yield. And the most incredible thing is that in the process you don't wear yourself down, you don't lose your essence, you don't become bitter or hardened. This quiet strength you possess has a special power to inspire transformation in those around you. When others see how you handle difficulties while maintaining your inner peace, how you face challenges without losing your compassion, how you persist in your goals without trampling on anyone along the way, they begin to question their own aggressive and destructive approaches to life. And here is something profound about this gift. You change the world not through dramatic confrontations or noisy revolutions, but through the silent and constant influence you exert simply by being who you are. Every person who comes into contact with you is subtly transformed, even if they don't consciously realize it. They absorb a little of your balanced energy, a little of your quiet wisdom, a little of your serene strength. Many times you may have felt weak for not being as aggressive as others, for not shouting louder, for not imposing your will through brute force. But let me tell you something very clearly. What you have is infinitely more powerful than any aggression or domination. You have the strength that transforms without destroying, that builds without tearing down, that leads without controlling. Have you ever noticed how people naturally seek your opinion when they need a balanced perspective? How they trust your judgment precisely because you don't force your views on them? How your influence persists over time while the influence of louder, more aggressive people fades quickly? That's the power of your quiet strength in action. And there is another extraordinary aspect to this divine gift. This serene strength gives you a special resilience in the face of life's storms. While others are swept away by the currents of adversity, you manage to maintain your position without becoming rigid. You bend like bamboo in the wind, but you don't break. You adapt to circumstances without losing your essential integrity. This ability to be strong without being harsh, to be firm without being inflexible, to be powerful without being domineering, is exactly the kind of leadership the world desperately needs right now. We live in an age of extremes, of polarization, of verbal and sometimes physical violence. And in the midst of all this chaos, you serve as a beacon of a different kind of strength. When you fully embrace this divine gift, when you stop apologizing for not being aggressive or dominant, when you recognize the immense power that exists in your balanced and peaceful approach to life, extraordinary things begin to happen. You attract people and opportunities that resonate with your high vibration. You become a natural leader, not because you impose your will, but because people naturally want to follow someone who demonstrates so much wisdom and balance. And there is one final secret about this sacred gift. The quiet strength you possess becomes even more powerful when you consciously combine it with all the other divine gifts you have received. When your balanced vision unites with your serene strength, when your aesthetic sensibility combines with your patient firmness, when your divine justice expresses itself through your celestial diplomacy, you become truly unstoppable. Dom 10. The divine mission of being a bridge between opposites. The 10th and final sacred gift that the Creator reserved for Librans is perhaps the most transcendent and important of all. I am referring to the divine mission of serving as a bridge between opposites, of uniting what seems separate, of harmonizing forces that appear contradictory, but are in fact complementary. When God was planning His purpose in this world, He saw that humanity was becoming increasingly divided, increasingly polarized, increasingly trapped in dualistic thinking that creates separation and conflict. And He decided that He needed special souls who could remind people that opposites are not enemies, but partners in the dance of creation. This divine gift allows you to see unity where others see only division. You can perceive how apparent contradictions are actually different aspects of the same broader truth. You intuitively understand that light and shadow are necessary, that masculine and feminine complement each other, that heaven and earth are eternally intertwined. And because of this profound understanding, you serve as a conduit through which opposing forces can meet and harmonize. When there is conflict between reason and emotion, you show how both are necessary. When there is war between tradition and innovation, you find ways to honor the past while embracing the future. When there is tension between the individual and the collective, you demonstrate how both can thrive together. This sacred mission is much greater than you as an individual. You were chosen to be an instrument of the divine plan for healing and integrating this fragmented world. Every time you unite people who were separated, every time you harmonize conflicting forces, every time you show that there is a middle path that honors both sides, you are fulfilling the sacred purpose for which you were born. Consider the magnitude of this divine mission. The world is torn apart by divisions of all kinds: political, religious, cultural, economic, ideological. And in the midst of all this chaos, you were placed here to remind people that there is a different way, a way based on integration instead of exclusion, on harmony instead of conflict, on complementarity instead of opposition. And here's something profound about this ultimate gift. It doesn't manifest only in grand actions or dramatic moments. It expresses itself in every small act of balance you perform daily. When you choose to see the good in someone others are harshly judging. When you find value in perspectives different from your own. When you refuse to join the polarization and maintain your balanced position in the center. This divine gift also gives you a unique vision of humanity's future. While others are caught up in the battles of the present, you can glimpse a future where current divisions have been overcome, where people have learned to honor their differences while celebrating their essential unity. And most importantly, you not only glimpse this future, you actively work to manifest it through every choice you make. Have you ever noticed how often you find yourself in positions where you need to balance opposing forces? How situations seem to conspire to place you at the center of conflicts where your ability to see both sides is essential. This is no accident. It's the universe placing you exactly where you need to be to fulfill your divine mission. And there is something even more special about this last gift. When you fully embrace this mission of being a bridge between opposites, when you recognize that this is your sacred purpose in this world, a tremendous force begins to flow through you. You become a channel for healing and transformative energies that go far beyond your personal capabilities. You become an instrument in the hands of the Creator Himself. This divine mission also protects and guides you. When you are aligned with your sacred purpose, when you are consciously serving as a bridge of harmony and balance, the universe conspires in your favor. Doors open, opportunities appear. The right people cross your path, resources emerge exactly when you need them. And there is a final secret power in this gift that I need to share with you. The more you fulfill your mission of uniting opposites, the more whole you become within yourself. The inner fragmentations that we all carry begin to heal. The contradictions within your own psyche begin to harmonize. You become a living example of the integration you seek to create in the world around you. If this message resonated with your zodiac sign, trust me, it's no coincidence. When the universe wants to speak to you, it sends exactly the right signal, and you're here because you needed to hear this today. Your contribution as a subscriber or member is what keeps these messages alive. Messages that touch, awaken, and transform lives. And if this video made sense to you, leave your birth date in the comments. My dear Libra, we have reached the end of this journey of discovering the 10 divine gifts that the Creator has reserved especially for you. And I sincerely hope that these revelations have deeply touched your soul, that they have awakened in you a new and deeper understanding of who you truly are, and the sacred purpose you came to fulfill in this world. Each of these gifts we explored today is not merely a characteristic of your personality. They are sacred tools, heavenly gifts that were carefully chosen and placed within you by the Creator Himself. They are part of a greater plan, a divine purpose that goes far beyond what you can imagine. Your ability to see all sides, your power to bring peace to chaos, your refined sensitivity to beauty and harmony, your profound sense of divine justice, your celestial diplomacy, your ability to love with balance, your keen intuition, your talent for creating meaningful connections, your quiet strength, and your mission to be a bridge between opposites. All of this together forms an extraordinary set of capabilities that make you truly special and necessary in this world. But here's the most important thing I need to tell you before we say goodbye. Having these gifts isn't enough. You need to recognize them, value them, develop them, and use them consciously. Many Librans go through life without ever fully activating the sacred gifts they've received. And that's a tragedy not only for them, but for everyone who could have been blessed by these gifts in action. So I challenge you today, right now, to make a sacred commitment to yourself. Commit to honoring the gifts God has placed within you. Commit to developing these divine abilities to their fullest potential. Commit to using these gifts not only for your own benefit, but to serve the greater purpose of bringing more harmony, more balance, more beauty, and more justice to this world that so desperately needs it. Always remember that you are not here by accident. You were carefully planned, meticulously created, strategically positioned at this specific moment in human history, because the universe needs exactly the gifts you possess. The world is waiting for you to fully embrace who you are, and let the divine light that was placed within you shine. And when you feel lost, when you doubt yourself, when you forget your own magnificence, return to this video. Remember these 10 sacred gifts. Reconnect with the truth of who you really are. Because you are not just another sign of the zodiac. You are a divine being with a sacred mission on this planet. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 10 gifts resonated most deeply in your heart? Which one did you immediately recognize in yourself? And which one did you realize you need to develop further? Leave your reflections, your experiences, and your birth date in the comments. Let's create a community of Librans aware of their divine power, supporting each other on this sacred journey. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now is the perfect time to do so. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because every week we bring you powerful content that will help you awaken more and more to your true essence and divine purpose. You won't want to miss the next revelations that the universe has to share with you. May the sacred gifts we explore today manifest ever more fully in your life. May you have the courage to fully embrace who you are. May you find the strength to fulfill the divine mission for which you were born. And may your light shine so brightly that it illuminates not only your own path, but also the path of all those blessed to cross your path. Until the next video, my dear Libra, may the universe bless you abundantly, may the angels always protect you, and may you walk each day more aware of the sacred treasures you carry within yourself. A hug from the heart and see you soon.